Alright, we're here this morning with our new to us Apache AS720 Sprayer. It is a 2016 model. This sprayer we bought new to us with about 1,500 hours on it. And we've been very happy with the Apache. We were kind of considering going with a John Deere just since we have a lot of their equipment and we know how to work on them and everything. And we decided to go look at an Apache, and we were impressed with what we saw and decided to try it. So throughout the course of purchasing this Apache, I looked up some information online to find out a little bit more about how to run them and everything, and Apache has some good videos out on some of their new features and how to utilize some of those features. But we just decided that we'd make a little video on a little more user friendly for the farmer on how to get in the field and get started. So this will be in a couple parts, one to do with the machine itself and then one on setting up the GPS. This is an Envisio Pro with this, so that will be in part 2. Equipment Technologies put out quite a few videos on this sprayer and their other models on kind of the new features and some of the things that they have got on there, and we were just looking for a very simple video on how to get this thing set up, how to get it spraying in the field, possibly a more farmer friendly version of this. So we decided we would make a video on how to get this thing started, get it out in the field, the basics of setting it up, unfolding it, and getting spraying. This will be a 2-part video. One part will be over the machine and how to get it set up. The second part will be over the GPS that ours came with, which is the Raven Envisio Pro. Just the overview of that, how to get it spraying in the field. So without further ado, we'll make a walk around the outside of this machine, and then we will get up in the cab and go through the setup. So starting out, this is a 2-wheel drive machine, and all of theirs are with a direct drive. This one has a 4-speed, the bigger ones have a 6-speed. They're actually a direct drive with drive shafts, which puts the solid power to the ground on the back tires. Back wheels are 46s, the front ones are 38s. And just walking around, this is the mix tank, mix bay area. It's got a chemical inductor on it. You have your pump controls out here, some storage up there. This one is equipped with a 750-gallon tank, and then they get bigger from here. Rear view camera on the back, so you can see behind you. This one is a 90-foot boom setup with 9 individual section shutoffs. Exhaust comes out on this side, and this machine is extremely quiet, especially inside the cab. So this is your basic walk around of the machine. Let's go ahead and go up inside, and we'll take a look on the initial setup in the cab. Now that we're in the cab, this has got a very automotive feel to it. Very nice cab, very nice seat. Everything about it is very spacious, very well put together. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is power it up. So you've got your disconnect over here for the battery. Push your start button. Your air will come on. You get a red light, goes to a green light. It will tell you to depress the brake to start. Push on the brake, push and hold. Machine starts up. So from this control panel here, we have all of our inside controls. Turn the fan down so it's a little quieter. Shows your speed, your RPM. You can change these to fuel rate, engine torque, and back to speed on each one. You can set it up however much you want to see. Then your joystick here is what operates the transmission and the throttle. You move it forward to raise the throttle, move it back to raise the throttle back, and you will shift by moving back and forth. So the first thing to get it driving is your park brake here. whenever you push the park brake, your ladder raises as well as your chemical inductor raises so that they are not on the ground anymore. From this point, there are two buttons on the back of the joystick. The top one is forward, the bottom one is back. You have to hold the button in reverse. To keep it in reverse, you have to push and hold the button for about a full second to get it to go into first gear, and then you shift back and forth to the left, to the right to shift up, the left to shift down. From here, your main panel control is right here below the gauge panel. You have your park brake switch, your engine start switch. These are your cruise control options, your pump on and off, agitate up and down, your wing and tips fold and unfold, and then your climate controls. You have your hazard lights and lights over here, as well as the flashing beacon and the radio. Your GPS is mounted up here, which we'll go over in part 2. On the joystick, you also have these controls, which is your spray on and off, your auto track and gauge, your rear rack up and down, right and left boom up and down. The rest of the controls in the cab are the right and left brake down here, your throttle pedal to raise the RPMs in the machine, your tilt steering wheel. This steering wheel also goes in and out, and you have your windshield wipers, your horn, and your turn signals. On the left side of the cab, you have your buddy seat, which you can flip over and has cup holders in it, as well as an insulated cooler section and a storage compartment for all the books and manuals down below, fire extinguisher, and a center console over here to put anything extra in. We keep extra spray nozzles and other items in there. On your seat controls here, this is an option, but it comes with seat up and down, and then the optional heated and cooled seats. This switches between heated and cooled. Off is in the middle position, low, and then high on either one of those. Lastly, you have your window hammer in case of emergency. This also opens to be able to service this side of the machine or an emergency exit. And down below are your boom pressure, agitation, and your actual spray pressure nozzles, where you can see them from the seat. There's a cubby up here for storage, your dome light, and that completes the cab. We'll now shut this down and we will jump back outside of the cab and show you how to add product to the tank, how to fill the rinse tank, and the mix bay. Back on the outside of the cab, you have your fill area. We'll first start with this fill screen here. This tells you how much is in your tank and how much you're filling. Once you're filling up, this will only come on if your Envisio Pro is on inside the cab. So you have to turn that on before you get this. You have your pump controls here, push and hold for the pump to raise and lower the agitation, and this little LED light so you can see what you're doing after dark. In your rinse tank, you fill here with a 2-inch and directly into your rinse tank, which is this little tank at the back side of the big product tank. You have a hand rinse area as well as the fill over here. Your next valve here is product to pump, closed, or rinse to pump. If you put this on rinse to pump, it pulls out of the rinse tank. If you put it on product to pump, it pulls out of the product tank, and closed obviously closes it off. For this valve, you have your agitation, which goes in the back side of the tank and runs directly from the pump. You can close it off, or you can do the roto flush, which the roto flush has nozzles on the top of the tank that completely rinse the tank. So if you want to rinse this out, you can put the product pump from rinse to pump, put this on roto flush, and it will rinse clear water through the tank and clean the tank out. This is your main 2-inch fill nozzle. This is where you're going to be filling your water or your other product that you want to spray. This goes directly into the main tank. And then you've got your power ports here that you can run a pump off of. They do not recommend jumping the machine from here either, though. Up here you have some storage for some gloves or anything else, and on top of that is another big area for storage. Lastly, we have the inductor tank over here. It folds down hydraulically whenever you put the park brake on, and this is pressured up whenever your pump pressure is on. And to use this, you open this valve, open your bottom valve, and open this valve, and this will continually run product from the pump, from either the rinse tank or the pump, depending on where you have this nozzle set, through this tank, and you can induct your chemical through the top. It has a little valve over here to rinse this tank out from the top down, kind of like a toilet bowl, to clean it out. And then back here is your main product filter and a filter drain if you're trying to drain everything out. You've got your sight glass, which goes up on this side to give you a manual version of what you're seeing, as well as on the Envisio Pro it will tell you how full the tank is. A basic overview underneath is your product pump, all the hoses going back. This is your main shutoff valve for your product tank. Going back to the agitation is the valve back there, and your freshwater fill. While on the outside of the machine, you can see the nozzle bodies are a 3-way T-jet specifically made for this machine, and you just twist them to select the nozzle. Going back up into the cab, I'm not going to turn this on so I have better chance of getting better audio, but once you're in the cab, you have your product filled, mixed, whatever you want. You're going to come in here. You can turn your pump on here or from the outside. If you turn it on outside, this light will light up below this and tell you that it's on. Move your agitation up and down, and you can check it on the gauges down below. Once you get out to the field, you're ready to unfold your booms. The first thing you got to do in the sequence of this is raise your right and left boom from the joystick out of the rack. As you can see, it goes up over that square on both sides. You raise them up out of that, then you push unfold. This light will come on. You push and hold these to unfold your wings, push and unfold these to unfold your tips. This you want to be careful with because these unfold very high. If you're around any power lines, they can hit those, and that could be a very dangerous situation. Once you've got everything unfolded, you can use your rear rack switch back here and move your rear rack, which will be the entire spray booms, up and down from this switch here. Once you're done unfolding everything, push this button again, we'll lock them in place, and you're ready to spray. Once you're going in the field and you've selected the gear and you want to know how fast you're going, you're going to push this cruise control button if you want to use it. That will turn on a little icon up here in the top of the screen. It will have a 1 and a 2, and it will tell a mile per hour in 1 mile an hour increments on how fast you want to go. To adjust that up and down for each one, you use the arrow keys, and then whenever you turn a corner and you want to go back to that cruise speed, you hit either 1 or 2, whichever one you want to go to speed up and or slow down. This was a pretty quick overview of just the machine and how to get it started and get it out in the field. The next part, we will go into setting the Envisio Pro, how to set an AB line, and how to set up your rate calibration, all those things. So if you'll stick around, I'll link the next video for part 2 below, and we'll see you in the next video.